Alright, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs, and it's time for another Advanced Wars replay commentary. This time around, I got challenged by a player who wanted to show me that Grimm can be a beast of a unit as long as there's no airports on the map, which I think is a very odd assessment, but sure, I'm always up for the challenge. Please show me how good Grimm is. Now, spoiler alert, I don't think Grimm is very good. My dual strike tier list isn't out yet, but I actually think he's probably one of the worst COs in the game. But instead of me just telling you all how bad he is, this game is a perfect demonstration as to why Grimm is so incredibly difficult to play. However, it also shows a lot of other good things. This game really shows how to properly utilize your transport units. It also shows you how to deal with an early game medium tank. I like to think that I dealt with it extremely well here. And yeah, I keep telling you guys how defense is a much more valuable stat than firepower. And in this game, you will just see why, and why Grimm just falls incredibly short when going up against literally any CO in the game. So, here's the game, and let's talk about the COs first. Once again, I am playing Adder. Sorry about this. This was recorded the same day as the previous one, so I'm still playing Adder, but I promise I'm going to mix it up very soon. Now, here is Grimm. Grimm, again, he has a very simple concept. He is a dual strike CO. He gets 30% attack, but he loses 20% defense. Now, on paper, this seems like a very nice trade. Honestly, it seems really good. Like, okay, you get a little bit of firepower, but you get a little bit of defense. But surely, if you attack first and you wipe out your units, or you wipe out the enemy units, I should say, then surely that should be okay, right? Like, you'll be able to win that way. Just get a bunch of first strikes, capitalize on that firepower, and you don't need defense if you just kill the enemy, right? Well, it doesn't quite work out like that, and I'm going to show you multiple examples for why having less defense is just incredibly detrimental in a game such as Advanced Wars. Now, Grimm does have two pretty scary powers. You know, he has a normal power that gives him a very big firepower increase, and a superpower that gives him a humongous firepower increase. And when going up against Grimm, you definitely want to keep this in mind. You want to pull your units back when he's about to get his powers. You don't want to let him just knock you into the dust, basically. But here's the thing, most Grimm players will lose before they even get their power, because he is just an incredibly difficult CO to play. Now, I don't know why the person I played against had the opinion that, for some reason, Grimm is better on a map without airports. I don't really agree with this assessment. I would say that Grimm's air units are pretty good, because you don't really care about the defense of your air units. Either they get shot down by anti-air, or they don't. So it's like, them having extra firepower can only make them better, in my opinion. Anyway, let's take a look at this map right here. It's an interesting map, and not one of my favorites, but it's interesting. Each player starts out with a transport boat, a lander. It can't really move very far, but you can use it to deploy your infantry across, like, in certain parts of the map. So it's an interesting unit. I do like the fact that sometimes you start with a transport copter. This map features comm towers, but they are my least favorite comm towers because they are uncontested. They are basically on each side of the map, so each player will basically just capture their own comm tower and it will just stay that way. There will be no fighting over these comm towers unless one player is pushing the other, like, back into a corner, and at that point, that player has already won. So again, I would have been much happier if these comm towers were placed in the center of the map, but hey, this is just how some of the maps are designed. I also don't really know what the purpose of these pipelines are. I don't really see the point in them being there. And there's like also a base like all the way back, like all the way here in the back. I don't really know. As I said, this is not my favorite map, but the match actually ended up being quite interesting, and it showcases a bunch of things that I want to talk about. So let's get started. So he starts out as player 1 right now, so I'm the one starting with an extra infantry, and he starts with some infantry of his own, which is, you know, that's a good opener. You always want to build infantry. And I move down, and immediately I position my lander. I move away from the dock, and I move it down here, because I realized that I can use this lander to extend the movement range of my infantry a little bit. He moves his units. Again, he captures a property right next to his base. I would maybe rather go for a contested base, and he goes down for this base immediately, which that is completely fine. It's my turn, and I move down immediately. I tried to go for some of these properties around the middle area, as, you know, the contested properties, which you usually want to go for. And I too take a base near my own property. And I also decide that I want to go and grab this base immediately, because of course you always want to take bases first. More infantry, nothing special here. He also goes for the space, and he starts to capture the properties around his own area, basically. And he deploys a recon. Now, again, he's going to apply a little bit of pressure to me, but because he's Grimm, you will see that this recon is going to be absolutely useless. You'll see why in a little bit. Utilizing his lander in a bit of a weird way here. I don't really know why he moved it over here. Maybe he wanted to scout. Like, there's no infantry inside the landers. I don't really know what he's doing here. Maybe he thought he put a unit inside it. I actually don't know. So, once again, the capture game continues. I decide to take the dock, just because it's a nice to have a place to refuel my lander in case it runs low on fuel, which it will do later on. And yeah, nothing special here, just building infantry, taking properties. He does send his recon out. He's gonna do some early game harass, which I guess that's okay, you know. I like to harass with recons too, but in this game I didn't really decide to go super aggressive early on. I decided to go for a bit more of an economic opener. So here I'm utilizing my lander here, transporting the infantry all the way over here. Not like super effective movement right here, but at least I'm using my lander for something. He is literally just leaving his lander here, doing absolutely nothing. If you have a lander on your side, you might as well use it. Even if it just gets a couple extra squares of movement out of it, that's better than nothing. I mean, or else the unit is just kind of sitting there, right? And this will be a recurring trend over the course of this match. You'll see that he will mostly leave his lander completely alone. It's not doing anything while I am constantly moving my lander around. Even if it just means like 1 or 2 extra points of movement, that's better than nothing. So yeah, taking some properties right here, and I build a recon too. I probably expect that he will try to attack this infantry at some point, so, and I want to see what he's building. So this is more of a scout recon than a harass recon. So here we go. He moves towards the comm tower now. Now imagine if instead of moving towards the comm tower, he would load up an infantry in this lander and move it down here. He could have started capturing the comm tower this turn. But again, because he's not using his lander, it's just sitting there being useless, he has to walk all the way down over to the comm tower. As a result, he will get it 2 turns later, which is not very good. So, he continues to cap, and here comes the recon. He's being a little bit stealthy with it, but that's okay. I haven't really started to capture this property yet, though. And he builds more infantry. So I move my recon down just to scout, see what he's coming up with. I don't see anything of importance, but I start to capture here as well. These contested properties, you want to try to go for them relatively quickly. So now I move my infantry down, and once again I bring my lander back. This time around I'm getting ready to go and get this comm tower. I might actually, yeah, I think I'm deciding to send this infantry up here manually. I'm going to use this lander to ferry some troops over to the right hand side. I think that was what I was going for here. So far the capture game is pretty equal. I get a tank out because why not? And here is going to be the first lesson of this match. So he goes in with his recon here. Well, first he moves his units. And now he will... Oh, actually, that's very surprising. I thought this was the turn he attacked with his recon. I guess he saw my infantry, but he actually kept it back. That's interesting. Anyway, I take a pot shot at his infantry with my recon. He doesn't have a tank out, so this is actually pretty effective, and I'm moving in my tank of my own. So I'm applying some pressure on the right-hand side here. Let's see how he deals with that. And now I start to capture the property, and he sees this. I thought he attacked me right away. That's what I seem to remember. But no, he actually held his recon back a little bit until I started capturing, which... that can be good sometimes, but I think it's better to just apply pressure early on. So yeah, here I go for the caps. You see, right here, I'm transporting my infantry. I'm taking the comm tower immediately. So now I will actually get my comm tower on the same line as he does, even though he sent an infantry all the way there and there to walk by itself instead of using the lander. His lander is still sitting there, by the way. It's doing nothing. So he's not utilizing it at all. So here we go. I get a tank out because I'm expecting there to be a recon showing up any moment. I mean, after all, like... it's either going to be a recon or a tank, and if I'm going to encounter a unit this far up, it's probably going to be a recon due to their high movement. So he's sending his infantry to scout in the mountains. He's basically sacking it to get some intel, which sometimes that can be good. Not always, though. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So this is why This is why Grimm is so bad. Allow me to show you. So he takes a shot at my infantry here. This is a scary recon. It has 30% extra firepower. It does a little bit more damage to my infantry than it normally would have done. Alright, so remember that. Remember that. We're going to keep moving through the turn here. He's going to keep capturing. He goes for the comm tower, which is okay. There we go. And he builds more infantry. And yeah, now he also rushes out a medium tank. So that's also like... that's also a pretty weird strategy. So he was saving up for a medium tank right here, and he rushes it out really early. And in this game, I am going to teach you exactly how to respond to an early medium game tank. I'm going to show you exactly how to respond to an early medium tank without panicking, without building a medium tank of your own. There is a very simple solution to dealing with a lone medium tank. It is not hard at all, as long as you're a little bit clever with your movements. So just be calm and don't panic if you see an early game medium tank. It's not that big a deal. So anyway, my turn rolls in. I see that my cap has gotten interrupted. However, my tank is in a beautiful position to shell that recon. take a shot at his infantry. See how quickly his infantry died to my recon. It's ridiculous. Like, Grimm's units have no staying power. They just die so incredibly quickly. Having less defense is such a detriment, man. So, anyway, so I move my infantry, and look at this, guys. Look at this. So here we go. Tank versus recon. And boom, recon dead. Any other CO would have survived this engagement right here. Any other CO would have survived this. Their recon would have been left at 1 or 2 HP, and they would have been able to pull their recon back into a forest and use it as a scout. Grimm, on the other hand, lost the recon because he has less defense. This recon is gone. It can no longer be used for scouting. It can no longer be used for harassing. It can no longer be used to block. It is just gone. And what did he get out of it? What did that 30% extra firepower give him? 2 extra HP of my infantry, which isn't going to be doing any capping anyway. This infantry at 4 HP will pretty much just stay around in forests and be a scout. It will serve the same purpose as if it had 6 HP or 4 HP, doesn't matter. This recon, on the other hand, is never going to be useful anymore because Grimm sucks and because his units just die. So this is what I mean when I say defense is so much more detrimental than firepower. You never want to lose defense. It is the most valuable stat in the game. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if your units do a lot of damage if they're dead. Like, a dead unit does 0% damage. And this is the problem I find with Grimm, is his units just die. And when his units die, they don't do any damage. It's that simple. And you may think, oh well, but he gets a 30% firepower as long as he attacks first. Well, in most of your engagements, you won't be able to attack first, especially not against a skilled player who scouts properly, right? Many of your engagements, you will be attacked. And when that happens, it sucks as Grimm, man. It really sucks. So, here, once again, I'm moving my lander back. I'm gonna put it in position to get some more infantry on it. And now he did actually move his lander. He moved it up here, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't really know what he has planned to do here. Okay, so here's my first response. I don't even know that a medium tank is coming here, but an artillery is definitely the best response to a medium tank, and I'll show you why in a little bit. But the reason why I'm building an artillery here isn't because I know a medium tank is coming. I did not expect that at all, but there are a lot of good places for artillery right here. This forest tile, this forest tile, this forest tile, like great positions for artillery. I want to try and get one out really soon. And against Grimm, it's a lot of fun to shoot at him because his units die so incredibly quickly. And I build some more infantry. So, it's his turn, and he's going to reveal his medium tank pretty soon. He continues to cap, he gets his comm tower, and here he uses his lander to get 1 extra movement on his medium tank, which is kind of interesting, I guess. But he does also reveal the medium tank to me, so now I know it's coming. But again, I'm calm. He gets himself trapped, lol. I'm calm, I'm not panicking, it's just a medium tank. It's not really that big a deal. Many people will panic when they see a medium tank, but nah, there's no point in doing that. It's not really that scary. It's easy to kill. So my turn, I continue to cap. I don't start to go like, oh no, I need to build a medium tank of my own, because a medium tank, you need a medium tank to counter a medium tank. Oh, I know a lot of people who start panicking now. I get my comm tower, I continue capping, and I send my recon out just to scout a little bit, and I send out my artillery as well. Take down his infantry, pull my tank back. You don't ever want a medium tank to attack your tank. That is just bad, so definitely pull it away. And I do the same thing with my recon. I pull back. This is the proper response to a medium tank. Pull back. Pull back into the cover of the forest and goad the medium tank towards you. Now, I build some more infantry. I move my tank in just to see what I can see. I start capping here, just, you know, I might as well, you know, this infantry isn't doing anything, so I might as well try to do something with it. And I move my lander up and now I'm going to use this lander actively to ferry infantry from this region over here. So I'm going to actively use it just to get my infantry to where I need them to be. And here we go. This is the perfect response, a second artillery. If anyone rushes a medium tank against you, build 2 artillery. Why? You can use 1 artillery to draw the medium tank in, place the other artillery in the range of your artillery, and shoot the medium tank. Even if you do 5 HP of damage to the medium tank, that is statistically more cost effective than the price of an artillery, because a medium tank is worth 16,000, you reduce it to half health, that's 8,000 basically, which is still 2,000 more than the artillery. So you will see how I position my artillery in such a way where I use 1 of the artillery to drag him in and the other artillery to shell his medium tank, and that is the best response to deal with a medium tank. Once you've dealt it, once you've reduced it to 5 HP, the medium tank loses a lot of its bite and it just becomes sort of like a big slow glorified tank. So not something you need to worry about. So yeah, once again, the turn rolls in, he continues capping his properties. He's doing alright on the capture game here, honestly. Like, he's playing pretty well. And he attacks because he's Grimm. You can always count on a Grimm player to attack. They usually won't hold back their forces. And he's using this transport kind of like as a... he's using it very weirdly. He should like move it up and forth, back and forth down the river. I don't know why he's insisting on keeping it here. It's basically not doing anything for him. So he builds a tank. He wants to really apply pressure. And so he holds his medium tank back, which is... I mean, to be fair, I wanted to move towards me, so... On one side, I was a little disappointed that it didn't move toward my artillery, but at the same time, he's showing a little bit of restraint. This is both good and bad for him. Yeah, sure, he keeps his medium tank alive, but every turn that medium tank spends on his HQ is a turn the medium tank is not being effective. So he has sunk a lot of gold into this unit. 16,000 he has spent on this unit, and right now it is doing nothing for him. It's not even killing infantry. It's just sitting on the HQ doing nothing. The more you hold the unit back, the more money you are wasting on that unit. So it's just something to keep in mind. So... Here, I'm goading him in. I want him to attack my units. I'm saying, come on, bring your medium tank to the front lines, and I place my artillery right here. Please, come on, I say. Grimm, come ahead. Attack my artillery. And it's actually a feint, because I fully expect him to be able to actually punch through these units. That's why I'm preparing a second artillery. So it's an artillery hidden within an artillery. I'm showing him my first artillery, and I'm saying, hey, come get this artillery. And then I place a second artillery in the forest behind it. It's a bit of a diversion, and this is how you want to deal with a medium tank. It's a response that's only going to cost you 12,000 to the medium tank 16, so it's statistically a lot cheaper, easier to pull off. And hey, if you actually manage to shoot down the medium tank, well, you have artillery that you can put in the forests. Win-win. Now, of course, if you suck and he kills both of your artillery, that's pretty bad, but, you know, just be careful with how you place your units. So again, using this transport right here just to ferry units to the front lines, placing these infantry here on the beach, ready to be picked up next turn. And yeah, I'm just moving my units forward, killing his infantry in the mountain to deprive him of vision. And yeah, once again, I'm just putting my tank right here. I'm inviting him in to come attack me. Please come attack me, Grimm. I have an artillery ready for you. So... D9 rolls in, and yeah, he continues to move forward on the left flank. He gets a good shot on my recon, takes it out immediately. That's pretty good on him. So that's a good example of Grimm using his firepower well there. He's able to actually kill my recon as opposed to just injuring it. So that is definitely a point in favor of Grimm. When you play as Grimm, you want to get as many first strikes as possible. He's just a very volatile CO. He either loses hard or he wins hard. Most of the time he loses though. So he takes up my infantry, deprives me of some vision. And once again, he's not doing anything with his lander, it's just standing there. But he's very good at building infantry, I will give him that. He's using his infantry rather well. So here comes the medium tank. Takes down my tank, that's pretty good, but in doing so, he places himself smack dab in the middle of my artillery range. And I pop my side slip. It's not going to be the best side slip ever, but there's no reason not to pop it. And boom, look at that, 4 HP medium tank, it's gone. Like, this medium tank is no longer dangerous. And again, like, oh man, having less defense on your medium tank and have it get shelled by an artillery, oh, that sucks, man. Oh, that sucks. And yeah, this medium tank has killed a tank worth 7,000, that's pretty good. But it has also lost a lot more value than that, because this medium tank costs 16,000, which is a lot more than 7,000. I may not be great at math, but even I know that it's a lot more valuable, so... Yeah, he has two choices, pretty much try to do as much damage with this tank or pull it back for repairs. Pulling it back for repairs would be very bad, let's see what he does. So again, I'm moving my second artillery in here, so even if he gets really dicey and he wants to move his medium tank in, I will be able to shell it next turn. So I move in with a tank of my own, and now I attack his tank with my tank, and boom, even though it's on a city, look how much damage I'm doing to it. 4 HP, that's a tank on a city, basically. Look how easily it falls. Again, man, Grimm is just such a hard CO to play. Having less defense really sucks. And yeah, once again, moving my lander back, picking up infantry, using this lander to just ferry them across the lake. Meanwhile, his lander is sitting there doing absolutely nothing, just being a waste of space. So yeah, moving in, taking out his infantry, killing his eyes pretty much. Look at it. Once we go over to his turn, let's take a look at the vision that he has in his area. So once I kill this infantry, which I will do pretty soon, he will have basically no eyes. And look at this medium tank, it has one vision. One vision, it can't do shit. A medium tank on its own without recon support is worthless. It has no vision, it cannot do anything. And this medium tank has 4 HP left, so this is just a waste of space right now. Not really able to do anything, it's just a very expensive slow unit. Now he moves in his tank and he kills my recon. Pretty well done here, but here he does a massive mistake. So he pulls this medium tank back to his HQ to get repairs. Never do this. Never pull your units back to get repaired, guys. It's not worth it. This medium tank will sit on this HQ being useless and just drain his income for several turns. And it's not doing anything. It's not pressuring anything. It's basically just sitting there. It's going to come back in about 3 turns. By that time, it has just wasted too much time. Use your units actively. Use them to attack. I'm not saying attacking this artillery would necessarily be a good thing, because I have this artillery right here, and he probably suspected this as well. But just never pull your units back for repairs. It's not worth it. Now, he interrupts this cap. That's okay. I never really expected to get this anyway. And yeah, he's moving in with some more infantry. And now he's actually, like, he's still using this lander as like an extra point of movement. But again, it could be so much better than this. And here comes the weird play. A battleship, ladies and gentlemen, a battleship. And yeah, I mean, I'll hand it to him. A very bold maneuver right here. A very bold maneuver. The problem with the battleship is that it cannot move over shoals. So it's basically trapped. It's a glorified rocket that cannot move. It's basically a pipe runner at this point. That's what it is. Now, yeah, sure, it covers a big area, but I can just avoid this area. And this will basically be a 28,000 gold of wasted money. I failed to find a better metaphor. It's late, okay? I've done a lot of commentary tonight. But yeah, it's not good. It's not good. This battleship, as much as I respect him for trying something new, a very bad move on his end. Because he just sunk 28,000 into this area right here, which means that his left flank is going to crumble. Now, at the moment, he does actually have quite a considerable value lead, but that is about to change very soon. So, again, using my artillery to shoot down his infantry right here. This artillery shoots down his infantry. I'm systematically picking off his infantry, taking away his eyes in the location. Although my vision is a little limited right now, I don't even see this tank. So I should definitely get a recon out. Meanwhile, I'm pushing on the left side here. Taking a lot of properties in the middle. You see my income lead is starting to rush ahead of him now. I even tried to take this city. At this point, I didn't know he had a battleship there, so... And I'm moving in tanks of my own. If I had vision in this area, I would be able to kill this tank, which is kind of annoying, but, you know, I should have built a recon a long time ago. I don't know why I didn't do that. So once again, moving this lander in, transporting more infantry to the front lines, and setting up, like, I basically have this conga line of infantry just waiting to get transported here. Building 2 more recons. Here I realize I need more vision, so I bring 2 recons out on the battlefield, plus a tank. So... he does something very clever here. He moves his tank between my 2 artillery. This is actually pretty good. Like, this was a good move on his end. And he moves his infantry forward. He doesn't have much of anything on the left-hand side, just infantry. And I have tanks, mechs, recons. He really needs to build tanks on the left-hand side, unless he wants to lose pretty much every single property. And here he shoots on with his battleship, attacking my infantry. And at this point, I remember scratching my head going like, he must have a rocket or something, because something shot at me from there. I didn't entertain the notion that it could be a battleship. I was like, no, it's probably like a rocket here or something. Like, it has to be, right? So at this point, I was really puzzled. I was really wondering what the hell he was up to. So my turn, I take out his tank, which is super easy to do because he's Grimm and he has no staying power. His units are just so easy to get rid of. I love playing against Grimm, man. Like, his units are so much fun to fight because he just dies. He tries to cap a city here. That's pretty bold. It's not really going to work for him, though. See how easy it is to interrupt a Grimm cap? Like, his infantry just melts. Like, his captures have no power because, like, the reduced defense just screws him over so much. So there we go. Send out my recon. And now I'm preparing a push on the left-hand side, which will be very devastating for him. So yeah, once again, just taking out his units. They crumble so quickly. Look at his infantry, man. Look at his infantry. They just have no staying power. Even when they're on cities, they just die and they die and they die and they die. And look how, like, I've just rolled down his entire line on the left-hand side. He's building a tank right here, but it's not going to come in time. Now, here I build a neo-tank simply because I got the money for it and I kind of appreciate the movement. Now, sometimes I know I'm going to get memed on here. Oh, Manx, you said neo-tanks weren't worth it. In this situation, I kind of want a neo-tank because I know that this medium tank will come into action soon and I would like to just first strike it and kill it. And the medium tanks, or the neo-tank's extra mobility makes this a lot easier. So it's his turn. He has his haymaker ready. For whatever reason, he doesn't pop it. I guess he didn't see enough engagements that he wanted to take on this turn, but I still think he should have popped his haymaker. He's holding on to it here, which is usually not a good thing, but I'm guessing he realizes he can kill most of the units he's going to attack this turn anyways. He probably wanted to hold on to it a little bit. So, moving in infantry, and once again, his battleship just kind of sitting there. He's once again trying to take the city. It's not going to work out for him. He should know that I have artillery in the vicinity, and that's exactly what happens. I'm just going to keep shooting it. Again, he's just sitting on his superpower right now, which is not good for him. And again, just look at how quickly his infantry die. Look at how quickly his units just melt. It doesn't matter. They're in mountains. Doesn't matter. They'd still die. Look at these infantry right here. Just dies. They have no staying power. It's honestly just so much fun to play against Grimm. There we go. Another infantry dies. And just look how I'm dominating him on the left-hand side right now. And he is sitting there with his glorified rocket that can't move away from the harbor, doing absolutely nothing. My lander is almost running out of fuel. That's how much I moved it this turn. His lander still has 78 fuel left because he's literally just parking it in the same spot. I move my Neo-Tank in, I build a rocket. I build a rocket with the intention of taking out this battleship because now I'm actually spotting it. When I saw this battleship, I could not believe my eyes. I was just like, what? What? A freaking battleship, really? So my idea now is to move this rocket down into this forest and just start shelling it and have a lot of fun with it. So, and I got myself trapped here, but this is fine. At this point, like, I am basically dominating the left-hand flank here. There's very little he can do against me. He does get 2 very nice strikes on my tank with 2 tanks of his own, which is nice. And yeah, I mean, he takes down my recon with the battleship. I was very surprised to see it, but at least now I know it's there. And yeah, look at that. He doesn't have any vision. No, wait. This is kind of weird. I don't actually understand what's going on here. I think this is a bug. I think this infantry is already dead. I think this is... I'm going to actually refresh. I'm going to refresh this interface right here. There we go. Okay, that was just a UI bug. If you ever see units that shouldn't be on the screen, just refresh. You can see that this infantry is not there. I thought that was kind of strange, but occasionally little glitches like this will happen. This is so weird. This infantry is still here. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on here, but there we go. This is just, sometimes the replays bugs out a little bit, but this infantry is indeed here, and he just killed my artillery. It should be fixed on my next turn, I believe. So, but yeah, Advanced Wars by Web still has some bugs it needs to sort out, as you can see. Anyway, day 14 rolls in, and it's my turn. I pop my side slip, because why wouldn't I? I'm very surprised he still hasn't popped his haymaker. It's just sitting on his power. I don't know why. And here, this is like probably the biggest mistake I do all match. I know that there's a medium tank here. I should have just scouted it. I don't know why. I could have hit... Look at this beautiful first strike right here that I just missed out on. I could have placed the Neo tank here, probably one-shot his medium tank, but instead I go for the infantry. And I remember just thinking, what the hell am I doing, man? What the hell am I doing, man? I could have killed a medium tank. But even so, you can see that my value still far outshines him right here. I got 106,000 to his 91,000, so I am winning pretty hard here. And keep in mind, even though we're relatively equal in value, keep in mind that 28,000 of his combined value is just sitting, drying up in his dock, not doing anything. This battleship is worthless, cannot do anything. Once again, I'm moving my lander, just continuing to fetch infantry units. They're getting so much extra mobility in this match. And right now, I'm saying, you know what? I'm not going to go for these properties here. I'm just going to take the properties in the middle. I'm tempted to actually try and go for the HQ, but then I remember there's a battleship guarding it, so I guess that's not going to happen. This is a great example of how to use a 1 HP infantry right here. Look at that. Just keeping it around the forest. Just being super effective with it. Ain't no thing. So, now it's his turn, and surely now he must pop his haymaker, right? Well, he doesn't, because he doesn't have any vision. Look at his vision. He has no vision, no recons, he has no eyes. He doesn't see anything. He's basically blind at this point. And he gets himself trapped. He can't even see my artillery because it's in the woods. So you can see just how little presence he has on the map now. Despite that battleship being there, it's not helping him out at all. He hides his medium tank in the woods, but I see it move. I know I'll be able to kill it next turn. So, yeah. He builds, again, he should build recons here, not infantry. Really big mistake. He also builds a Neo tank here. It's not gonna save him. A Neo tank, again, Grit's Neo tanks, they just melt. So here, again, really badly played by my end here. I'm shelling his tank with my indirects. I should know that there's a medium tank right here, so I'm not really happy with the way I played, but honestly at this point, I think I pretty much realized I had the game in the bag, so I don't really think I was playing very optimally. Again, this is not the best match I've ever played. I think both of us played really poorly here, and the map isn't really that great. But yeah, at this point, I am pretty much just rolling over him. So I'm just going to quickly cycle through the rest of the match here. At this point, he is pretty much lost, as you can see. But the reason why I wanted to cast this match was basically just to showcase how much Grimm struggles. You know, like, people think that he's, like, there's a lot of people who think Grimm is good, and I will admit that in some matches, Grimm can actually be decent if you're very lucky and you get a bunch of first strikes on your opponents. But the problem with him is his units just crumble so incredibly quickly, and he has no staying power. And when he has no staying power, he can't fight. So, as you can see, the rest of this match here, I'm just rolling over him. At this point, it's just a massacre. I'm moving into his base. At this point, he probably should have resigned. He will resign at some point, I do believe. But yeah, as you can see, he is... it's not going well for him at all. And now he actually activated his Haymaker. I actually didn't realize he did this because I think he resigns right afterwards. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, yeah, that's the match against Grimm. And it's a very... again, not my best match. I'm not very proud of the way I played this one. I was kind of tired. It was one of the later matches that I played during the evening. But I just wanted to showcase Grimm and his weaknesses. That's pretty much what I wanted to do. So yeah, and that was my Discord notification, by the way, not yours. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, a very simple match here. Let me know if there's any particular COs you'd like to see me play, or any kind of matches you want me to do. I'd love to hear it in the comment section. I love doing these replay commentaries, guys. They're a lot of fun to do. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.